Hey guys, in this video I am going to talk to you about Unicode characters, which are going to be your best friends and probably worst enemies. It's going to be great, don't worry. So when I'm starting arrays, as you know, I just copy everything over, paste it into here, and I'm going to go from there. I'm going to make everything size 12 because for the array it can all just be the exact same size. And, you know, we start out, okay, VAR, undo, we don't want it to be capital, A4 equal sign, and there we go, okay. So we have this first one, okay, 4.1 colon, there we go. Now, here's what we notice, right? This worksheet is an old version of one that we have. We have since formatted it, but you see that these exponents are coded in, essentially. The way that Word does it, they have this little, exponent feature. However, unfortunately, if we copy and paste this into Slack, it doesn't work. It turns into 33, right? And so that's not good. It's real confusing. Don't worry. And so we don't want to do that, especially for the VMH, for the array files. And since we're at it anyway, we're just going to change both, right? That's kind of the idea over here. So what do we use in order to make this be super spiffy? We use our Unicode characters document. Here we go. This has like everything in it that you could ever possibly need, really. It's got, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to signs, not equal to, plus or minus, approximately equal to. This one's your degree symbol. This one is like a weird symbol that's sometimes used for composition of functions. Multiplication dot, multiplication sign. There's pi. There's like a whole slew of fractions, your infinity sign. And then these ones above the big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of these ones are all exponents, right? So 2, 3, 4 I use most often. I have them separate out, and then there's all the numbers, plus sign, minus sign, equal sign, and parentheses. That's really useful. And then all of the letters that are available as Unicode exponents. It's not all 26. And then obviously you can see down here the letters that are available as subscript Unicodes. It's also definitely not all of the letters. There's all the numbers, there's the plus minus, and down here we have our little theta symbol. So we're going to use these because we want to change this. So I'm going to take my thing. If you are not aware of it, Alt-Tab gets you to your most recent tab. So that's going to just take me right over there. This is really useful if I sort of set it up right there. I can copy and then I'll go right back over. So I'm going to paste that, delete that one, and now we have 3 cubed. And it's awesome. Usually what I will do is try to find anywhere where that shows up so that I can kind of make it happen everywhere. In this particular case down here, we've got like a -3, so maybe I'll do that really fast. I'll put the minus sign and then my little 3, Alt-Tab, and I'm already there, so I can paste it, right? That's kind of how that works. And then because I have another one of those, I'm going to go down here, paste, delete, delete. Okay, so kind of quick ways of getting back and forth between these things, right? Next, I'm going to go check out this 2. So we've got, square here. We're going to delete that one. If you do it, by the way, if you put it over here, it's going to be a Unicode exponent that's also turned into an exponent by Word through this function up here. So it gets real weird. So I just go in front of it, paste, and then delete. It's a little bit easier. I'm also going to need a 2 for this one, and let me get my minus sign back. I'm going to need a minus sign here, right? There are all sorts of ways that you can attempt to speed this process up. Whatever works for you is totally fine. Usually I will go through and do all of these things on the original worksheet first so that when I copy it over, it's like not a big deal. But I show it to you here because if it only happens here, that's okay. If it only happens on the worksheet, that's not okay because this, these things are not going to show up. Right. One really great way to check your work at the end is to select all and turn everything into these exponents and then everything out of the exponents. And now anything that was up there in the, that exponent feature, superscript, is going to be regular, right? So you can see, okay, definitely like this one I forgot the 0 or something, right? So for example, if I were to do this over here as well, I can see that, okay, I did get the 2 and I got this 3 and I got some of these ones, but I did not get this 0 or this 1 or this -1. And so it's just an easy way to double check, right? Make sure that nothing at all is up there in the superscript. So as we go through all of these, we're going to replace anything that we possibly can with Unicode when we can. For example, so the star symbol, it's okay, right? I'm just going to drag this over here and bring up my Unicode characters. So that star symbol is okay, but this multiplication sign is really just great. So I'm going to put it here, right? And then we've got, you know, our little 3. Put that there, and we're going to need the 4. There, right? So you can see I'm constantly using Alt-Tab very, very frequently to get back and forth between the things. Alt-Tab, Alt-Tab, Alt-Tab. Super, super common. And then now I have something that looks like a little bit nicer, right, than perhaps the original. And so that's pretty cool. Maybe for this one I might want to use a multiplication dot instead, just because the, that didn't do it. Oh, paste. There we go. Just because it's X's as the bases, right? If I scroll down even further, so obviously I turned this all into, you know, non-exponent things, so everything that it looks real weird. But so I can see this guy. We do have square root, cube root, quarter root. And so I can take these, and usually because this one's inside that box that I mentioned before, I'm just not even going to deal with that, so I'm going to put this all in front of it. I'm going to paste 9 times paste 9. Cool. And then I'm just going to delete the rest of it, right? I also am going to want to actually use this guy for the multiplication symbol, so that's real nice. A lot of what you can do also, especially inside of the original document, is just replace every asterisk with this symbol, right? Usually that works out pretty well because there's not really a lot of asterisks used for anything else. The other thing that I want to mention is, so for things like this, where the exponent is a fraction, you probably, so you're not really going to be able to, we don't have a fraction bar up here, you are probably going to want to use these handy dandy fractions that we have up here. So how do we use that? We're going to say 17 to the power of, right? And then we put in parentheses 1/2, something like that. That's how we can get it into Slack a little bit better. In terms of the actual worksheet itself, so the worksheet is the thing that the student sees. In terms of the actual worksheet, I'm just going to move this back over here, right? Here's the worksheet, here's the array file, the start of it, very, very rough start of it. In terms of the worksheet, it's actually okay if we get some of this stuff possibly going up in an exponent thing, specifically for fractional things. Anything like this though, it's a little bit hard to see. I'm probably going to up the size. I know I always tell you guys it has to be 12. Every once in a while we can break even Chelsea's rules, don't worry. Right, so we've got these like fractional exponent things. You can also leave it as like, you know, 1/2, also up in the exponent style. Either of those is basically fine. They're equally interpretable, but when they get into the array, it's going to have to be, you know, the 17 caret parenthesis, you know, 1/2 and all that jazz. So just a rough introduction to some of the things that we have. This one's just mostly exponential ones. You'll get a lot more complicated stuff when it comes to, you know, the more exciting steps with more complex equations and things of that nature. But these are the basic things that we have available. You can always, if there's something that you don't see here, so these are the fractions that I have used ever, right? These are the exponents that I have used ever. And so this is just what I've accumulated so far. It is available to you at any point in time if you would like it. So I'll drag this here. It's in the VMC folder. It's just the very first, you know, file, just the VMC file, and it's down here. It's called Unicode characters, right? So it is always available to you. You can always use it. Don't like mess it up and delete everything, but you can use it. And you can add to it as well. You can always go online and just search, hey, is there a Unicode 1/3 fraction? And it'll always come up with something for 1/3. It doesn't do improper fractions, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that it doesn't do. But anything that it does do, we can use, right? So that's the basic idea for all of that. We're going to want to change it on the worksheet and then copy it over into the array file. It's going to be real convenient. Any questions? Let me know.